There's got to be somebody out there in YouTube land awake besides myself. Bound to be. Who's going to be the first person to jump in here this morning? There's somebody. Good morning, whoever that is. 247 in Mississippi. Man, my sleeping habits are messed up. Golly. There's a link up there for anybody, whoever's coming in. You're more than welcome. Way more than welcome. All right, fishing for whiskers. Good morning. I never sleep. You sound like me. Fishing for whiskers. What part of the world are you in? I probably asked you before, but Maryland, Annapolis. Okay. Are you a retired Navy, or that's just where you live? I don't know how I sat down here without any snow, but I certainly did. Okay, well, thank you for his service. I've never been to that part of Maryland. I've been to upstate Maryland up there at I forget the name of that place. It's a resort area up in the northern part of Maryland. It wasn't anything up there but farmland where I was. Surprised me, man. I didn't know they had that much farmland in Maryland. Ocean Beach, Ocean City, or something like that. I think it was Ocean City, Maryland, up that part. I'm pretty sure that's not typical of the whole state, but it was pretty up there to me because I'm from farmland, and I enjoyed seeing it. It was small farm, not big like we have down here, but it was still they still did a good job. It looked good. Okay, so y'all got the chicken farms and moved in up there. You know, we got them here right across the river in Arkansas. Northeast Arkansas is nothing but one big chicken farm. But that's all Tyson. Tyson and Walmart run the University of Arkansas, basically. Purdue chickens say they don't use any antibiotics. I hope that's true. It better be true or they're going to be in hot water with the government because they're going to sure check them, I know. Yeah. I got a story about that. When I was senior in high school, we were playing. We ended up winning the state championship, but we had to play a team up in the northeast Mississippi. And there's a town up there called Marks, 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 Mississippi, and a train crosses the highway right there. Of course, you got the letdown things and the lights and all, but anyway, a truckload of white chickens hit that train. They ran into the train while it was, I don't know what happened, brakes went out on the trailer truck or something, but you talking about white chickens everywhere. The whole town, for months, the whole town had people were still trying to catch white chicken. Man, we got there, and there was chickens all up on all the boxcars, sitting in all the trees on the side of the highway. There were chickens, white chickens everywhere. I've seen 2 chicken trucks wrecked. South of me, I was going fishing down at Vicksburg, and that highway got some mighty sharp curves in it. And I guess the trailer was top heavy or something, but anyway, it was a trailer truckload of chicken turned over going around one of those sharp curves. It just rolled over on the side and threw those cages all out across the other side of the highway. Man, it was white chickens everywhere there, too. If you look on a map at Onward, 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 Mississippi, it was just north of there about a mile or 2. Onward, Mississippi is kind of a famous place, even though there's nothing there but a store. President Roosevelt came down here bear hunting back when he was in the presidency. And well, that's what they were doing in Marks. They were chasing chickens all over the town. They were doing the same thing. Yeah, they were trying to catch those chickens. Listen to this now. If there's a homeless guy that can chase down a chicken, he can have a job doing anything. If I had any control, I'd sit and watch him. When I saw one of them chasing the chicken, I'd go grab him by the back of his neck and make him go to work somewhere. You probably never chased a chicken. Man, I tell you, they harder to catch than a pig. If you got enough energy and get up and go to chase a chicken, you got enough energy to get up and go to work. Only thing I chase a chicken with now is a knife and a fork. Yeah. And cows, they don't mean to hurt you, but they're just so big, they can't help it. And if you got the feed bucket, you're in harm's way. You're drawing combat pay if you got a bucket of feed for a herd of cows. And they don't mean to hurt you. They're real docile animals most of the time, but there you go. You're smart enough to get rid of the bucket. Yeah, that's all they want is they want that feed in that bucket. That's special to them. Throat dry. Yeah. I bet that was a sight for sore eyes watching you running from that herd of cows. Yeah, they'll scare you to death, especially when they start all that mooing and stuff. And if there's one big old bull out there, and a bull can be dangerous. If he got a bad attitude, a bull is bad. I used to work for a farm company down here, and they ran 5,000 head of cows, and they had Brahma bulls, big old pretty gray bulls. Man, you talking about athletic? They was athletic just like some dogs. And the man that took care of them, they bought him a 4-wheel drive Chevrolet truck. When Chevrolet came out with a 4-wheel drive, it had power steering or automatic transmission. Ford came out with one, but it didn't have power steering, and it was a shift, and it was a 3-speed. You had to shift it. So Delta Prime bought a Chevrolet because it was automatic and had power steering. This was back in '78. Anyway, he went out in the pasture to move those bulls around just like he'd been doing all the cows for years. He was moving them back to the catch pen, and they decided they didn't want to go. They turned that truck over out there in that pasture. 2 of them did, and totaled it out. They absolutely totaled that truck out. They even tore the mufflers off of it when they got it turned over. Pulled the muffler off from under the bottom of it. And he was in it. That pickup was famous in my part of the world for quite a while because Delta Pine was the name of the company, and they insured themselves. Well, they just took that truck and put it in the shop, had a body shop there. The company had their own body shop. And they rebuilt that truck with every different color quarter panel and front fender you could find. That truck, it looked like a polka dot going down the highway. And it stayed in this part of the country. Another fellow bought it Where you going, Lucky? Come up here by me. I saw that truck years later, and I told the fella the history of it. And you know what he said? Well, no wonder it pulls to the right when I'm going down the highway. Hell, they bent a frame on it too, I guess. All right, there's the link again. If anybody feels froggy, come on, jump in here. Yeah. Yeah, they were still your friends. They wanted to come to the party. You just didn't know that you didn't know that you were the party. That you had all the treats in that bucket. Don't you wish telephones had been around back when that happened and somebody had that on film? America's Home Videos, you'd have that money. All right, I got to turn this thing off for a minute. I got to go get a can of snuff. See if I know how to do this. I'll be right back. Yeah, I didn't have to go too far. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what it's been like. I can't imagine what it been like when I grew up. If there was cell phones around. Golly, all the crazy stuff we did would be on record. I reckon. I bet y'all didn't know there was such thing as hooker engineering. I bet y'all didn't know there was a set of engineers that engineered all the hookers. But there it is. Hey, Fishing Whiskey, you come in these lives that I'm in quite often. I see you around quite often. Can you tell any difference in my speech and everything? And my face droop over here on the left side? I know I've seen you in here several times early in the morning. Bugman show and stuff like that. I feel like I'm getting better, but I don't know. If I don't get feedback from people, I don't know whether I'm getting better or not. I feel better. To be a month out from surgery, I'm doing good, I think. That's just my personal opinion. I still have quite a bit of left side neglect, but I'm trying to work through it. If I took this snuff out of my mouth, I'd probably talk a lot plainer anyway. But it's been there so long. I quit smoking in 1999, but I ain't quit dipping. Yeah, well, just keep a check on it for me and let me know because I enjoy hearing that. That makes me feel a lot better. I just want to know that this insurance that's paying off is they getting their money's worth. So we hadn't gotten but one bill that we've seen. We get a printout. You know, you get a printout from somebody on what they paid and hadn't paid. I don't know what this is going to cost them, but it's over 100,000 already. But I'm still here. There you go. Well, it's a nasty habit, but it's a habit I hadn't been able to break because I stayed in hospital for 2.5 weeks, and all I could think about the whole time I was laying in that hospital bed was snuff. That's awful. I didn't want to. I mean, I wasn't worried about drinking a can of beer. All I could think about was that snuff at home and being able to sit outside. Yeah, you've seen plenty of it then. Back to power of attorney. When I was 40 years old, I found my biological daddy. He lived out in Northern California, and he was married to a lady that had four kids, 4 boys. Of course, they all had families by then. Even though I was the oldest of the bunch. Well, anyway, I flew out and stayed out there 7, 8 days. Well, I'm telling you, it ain't but one way to quit them, and that's to lay them down. All that other stuff, all them patches and everything. I just laid them down and where I could see them with my lighter. I laid them on the dashboard of my truck. I was a coach and I was going home from 2-a-day football practice. I said, I'm fitting to quit smoking. And I took them out of my shirt pocket and put them up on the dashboard, and that's where they stayed for 8 or 10 years. Somebody was going to bum a cigarette off of me one day. It was Marlboro, red, plain Marlboro, and I gave him that pack. And when he pulled a cigarette out of it, all the tobacco fell out on the ground at his feet. He said, how long they been in there? I said, 3 years. I look at him every time I get in that truck. I had to look at him, but I quit. I yeah, yeah. I don't know if it changed my personality or not. None of the kids, I was coaching and teaching school, none of the kids ever said anything about it. I didn't ever get called in on having a different attitude, but I got another story about quitting smoking. I've been married, I guess, 57 years or so. My wife smoked for a little while. She smoked them old Salem cigarettes that's about a foot long. And she's one of those people that buys by the carton and she smoked one cigarette at night before she went to bed. She'd be sitting on the couch there where she watched TV, and she put that last cigarette out, go in there and brush her teeth and go to bed. And that was a routine every night for years and years and years. I was smoking 2 and 3 packs a day. And she got up one night to go brush her teeth and turn around about halfway to the laboratory over there and said, we got to quit smoking. And she's smoking 1 cigarette a day and I'm opening 3 packs. I said, do what now? She said, yeah, we got to quit smoking. I said, hell, baby, you don't even smoke enough to say you smoke. I started running out of the house. She said, I've been thinking about it. We need to quit smoking. But them things were killing me. Boy, I cough, man. But I started all that mess when I was 12 years old on the farm, chewing tobacco and smoking cigarettes, and bumming off of the labor, on the farm. But I started off smoking Camels, them little bitty short cancer sticks with no filter on. And then Prince Albert, but I never could roll a Prince Albert. I burnt every shirt I had. I got caught. That's how I got caught smoking. They saw and burn holes in my shirt and knew what it was from. But that's the best smoke there is, a Prince Albert cigarette. There's a lot of guys in the catfish community that roll their own. I know you've seen Buck Williams around. He got a machine. He rolls them packs at a time. Yeah. Just imagine if you're still smoking today, you know what they cost. They out of sight, man. You save enough in a month to make a down payment on a car in this day and time. Look, you're in a bad spot. I don't like you laying on my sheet now. Something got to give. Get off of that. Yeah, they were 25 cents a pack when I started. Prince Albert, a can of Prince Albert was like 20 cents, something like that. Yeah, right. Yeah, I believe that. Did you mean the VA or the PX? I didn't know the VA was sold cigarettes. I don't know anything about the VA though, other than medical care. I know I was in Sandy, VA, Virginia. Yeah, okay, yeah. I know a girl over in Arkansas. She orders all hers off the internet some sort of way. Her and her husband both smoke, and so she found a place to buy them on the internet cheaper. I imagine I spend that much on snuff. Because it's up to $4 a can now. But the real good stuff is $7 a can, I think. I don't buy that. Yeah, when I was a kid, we would roll up corn shit. We'd smoke anything. Golly. All right, I don't know. 3 insomniacs in here. I wonder if any of them want to come up on pound. All right, there's 3 folks in here. If anybody wants to come up here, hit the link and come on. Come up here and tell me a lie. Most of the people that watch me when I'm live would rather climb a pole and tell a lie than to stand on the ground and tell the truth. They take the personality of the host, I reckon. At least that's what I'm supposed to say, I think. Yeah, I bought 3 sleeves yesterday with $31 though. Is Maryland a high tax state? It sounds like Virginia may not be. But I bought 3 5-can sleeves and it was $31. I ain't trying to figure out what that is a can. Copenhagen, yeah. That first time I did Copenhagen was in the hot summertime down here. Look, man, that stuff, my head was going round and round and round. That's some strong stuff if you ain't careful with it. But now these other brands, I'll use the straight sometimes just for a change, and they don't bother me. But Copenhagen will give you a little buzz, man. It does me. That may be what called you calling me. I thought I heard my wife say something. I bet I woke her up. I had the door closed. The cat came in. He opened it wide open. Let me go and close this door. Okay, I'm back. I had to close that door, keeping waking my wife up. Let me try to remember to put these things on. All right, there it is. Big old tomcat laying over here on the bed. He's my cat. He stays with me everywhere I am, and Lord, with my hours the way I'm sleeping now, he sleeps all day long. You don't ever see him in the daytime. Was missing his days and nights of him. And cats sleep all the time anyway. But this one's sleeping his life away. Curled up over here on the bed. Come here, Lucky. Quit slapping at me. I ain't bothering you. Quit. I bet you cut me then. I know you did. You crazy cat. I got to go get his toenails cut. Golly. He typical tomcat though, crazy as hell. And I ain't gonna turn around and go to sleep. Got me bleeding. He ain't changed a bit. He been doing that his whole life. Mm-hmm. Now you left-handed. Now you left-handed again. Now I got blood running down my finger over here now. Lucky, why you gotta be so mean? He really not mean. He can't retract his claws all the way because they're so long. That pretty boy right there. Huh. Lucky you on YouTube, man. You on YouTube, do you care? I can't reach over to pet you because you just strike me. I know you. You got me wiping blood now. Where you going? Gonna get you a drink of water or something to eat. All right. He thinks he is too. Thank you. He thinks he's a pretty boy too. I believe I got some blood on my shirt. I got something on there. My wife picked him up in the middle of the street. He had fallen out from under a vehicle, I suppose. And a man, she got out of the car and the man pulled over in the lane and stopped traffic so she could pick up that little kitten. That's the reason we call him Lucky. But he's strictly an inside cat. He couldn't make it on the outside. He like that show Shawshank Redemption when Morgan Freeman said he don't think he can make it on the outside. He's institutionalized. That's Lucky. Yeah, he got a lot of Bengal in him. When the sun hits him just right, his legs look like tiger legs. He got the lines on him, like a tiger does. And he got the same coloring, too, when he's out, if the light hits him just right. But when he was a kitten, I was already retired, and I lay on the couch and there watch TV, and he'd get up on my hip, and that's where he'd nap. That's when he was a kitten. Now he weighs 18.5 pounds, and he does the same thing. Yeah, we kind of rescue cats here where I live. We got three little Black Panthers in the backyard, three little mate sisters that came up as kittens. There's a country road back behind my house about 3/4 of a mile, about maybe half a mile over there. And people in town go out there, and you know how folks will do it and dump their animals out. There's some people that will do that, believe it or not. And they'll migrate across that field and end up in our backyard. And of course, we're animal people, both of us. And we take them to the vet up here and get them taken care of, neutered and everything, and then put feed out for them. In fact, they got 3 heated houses out there. We spend a lot of money on stray cats. But they worth it. I love to sit. I love to sit out there in the morning and watch them play in that backyard. But I'm also a bird. I was a bird watcher till they came along. I had to take all my feeders down. But I had gotten my neighbor started feeding birds, and so she takes up the slack. And they don't seem to go over there and bother the birds on her feeders. But yeah, we got a warm place in the heart for animals. There's that link for that fourth person that just came in. Sure would be nice if somebody that came up here and helped me talk a little bit. Have you caught any fish off the dock down there? I was watching Skipjack, Cindy, and Travis the other night. They done bought a bait boat. That thing looked pretty neat. I don't know what one of them cost, but it looked pretty neat. It worked good up there at the dock where y'all got that ledge way out there you got to drop over. And plus, it dropped 3 buckets of chum. The one they got. Got lights on it and everything. I was watching them when they launched it. Did you see Cindy eat that old rotten fish the other night? She did it pretty good. She handled that stuff pretty good. The rest of them were gagging, but she ate 2 pieces of that nasty stuff. Yeah, she was live several nights. What, week before last? Yeah, I watched them. The night I watched them, Laura was down there changing out lights. But they were sitting in the vehicle. I think it was cold. I think y'all finna get an Arctic blast. I know we are. But y'all gonna get snow and stuff with y'all's, I bet. Yeah, pretty good front moving across the country. I just hope we don't get any ice out of it. We never get any snow. Very seldom. But we'll get ice. Yeah, we had a big storm here in '94. The county I live in lost 80% of its utility poles. Yeah, man, there was 5 companies in here putting up new utility poles after that ice storm. We stayed out of electricity for 7 days in town. It was strange because none of the TV stations had generators, and you turn the TV on and it was black. Turn the radio on and no sound. It was weird, man. And on the fourth day, we ran out of water because the town I live in didn't have any generators on the pumps, and we ran out of water. So we was having hot water, drinking water, and bath water. My wife took a bath every night, a hot bath every night. I set up my fish cooker, and I used to tell you the formula for a hot bath, how many 5-gallon buckets of hot water it took per bucket of cold water to have a hot bath. I didn't write it down, so I don't remember it, but I got so tired of heating up bath water. But heck, it'd take me 30 minutes to get enough water in that bathtub to suit her. But I bought a 4-wheel drive pickup after that. And now I keep, when it's ice forecast, I go, first thing I do is go fill up with gas, because I'm not living through another one without electricity or water. I'm going south till it thaws out, till I don't see no more ice. I'm not going to fight that battle again. I'm in full retreat. Yeah, I got a grandson that's going to the University of North Carolina, so I imagine his weather is pretty similar to yours. And we keep up with his weather pretty close. That Greg Biffle plane crash wasn't far from where he lived. It's Statesville. Boy, that was a shame there. It's been a whole lot of NASCAR drivers end up like that for some reason. I know out of the 4 people that's in here, somebody come up here. Please, come on. If you look, we're not gonna bite you. And if you're gonna be if it's your first time, I'm the right guy to come up with. Yeah, coastal weather. I'm about 200 miles from the Gulf, and when the tornadoes get in the Gulf, the hurricanes get in the Gulf in the hurricane season, boy, we stay on the lookout. So they come up through here and they spawn in tornadoes when they come up by me. I watch a lot of James Gregory's videos, and he talks about tornado hurricanes and the power of plywood. He tickles me to death, man. I guess I must have made somebody mad because I just forward you to somebody come up. It used to not be hard for me to sit up here and talk for hours, but it ain't that way anymore. Yeah, a lot of good fishing in Chesapeake Bay. So I understand. I don't know. I've heard there's a whole lot of channel cats in there. Who's that? Ed Evans after midnight? I don't know who you're talking about, Ed, none unless it's Ed Evans. Some of Bugman's folks will be in here in a minute, I reckon. Fat Boy Eric and some of those other guys. London's Butterflies and Sunshine. Okay, I know who Butterflies and Sunshine is, but I didn't know her name was Linda. Well. Do you know how to share out this link so if anybody happens to see it, they come in? I don't know how to do it. If you know how to do it, I wish you would, because I sure don't know. But the internet is an amazing thing. I thought CB radios was a big deal about meeting folks, but this internet is something else. I made a lot of new friends over the CB radios back in the 70s, though. I mean, tons of them. People I still keep up with today. Of course, it's on Facebook now. But back then, it was over the radio. I was farming in those days, and I had a base station at my house. And in the wintertime, when we wasn't in the field, I'd sit up on that radio and talk all night long. We lived in a two-story house, and the bedrooms were upstairs, so I didn't disturb anyone. And I had a room set up down there off the kitchen that had a bathroom and everything with it. And I spent many nights sitting there at that radio talking to people. Because I'm a people person. I love to visit. Always have been. It took me quite a while to learn how to do this computer stuff, but I finally caught on to it. You never did say if you saw Skipjack Cindy eat that stuff from Sweden. If you didn't, you ought to go back and look at it. Boy, that stuff must be terrible. I got a weak stomach. I couldn't get within 20 feet of it, I don't imagine, without gagging. I gag brushing my teeth. Neither could I, but it's some kind of herring, and it's fermented. It's not pickled or nothing. It's fermented, and I can't imagine what it tastes like. I ferment cabbage. I make my own sauerkraut, but it don't get rotten like that fish. But way back yonder early days, that's how they processed their meat. They fermented a lot of it. I tell you what, that fermented sauerkraut is some good stuff, though. Man, it takes on a pickle flavor, and I love dill pickle. It starts with an S. That's all I can tell you. Stroming, or something like that. Yeah, when all the kids, all the families were here over Thanksgiving, that's what we did was we fermented, made a bunch of sauerkraut. You got to squeeze that stuff like that, and my left hand is just, I don't have much strength in on my left side, so the grandboys got over there and did it all up. We made 1.5 gallons. I meant to make 3 or 4 gallons, but I didn't buy enough cabbage. And my cabbage in my garden didn't do anything this year because I got sick there when I should have been taking care of it. The worms ate it all up. But it is what it is. I think you're right there, Whiskey. I've done some Roma tomatoes that were so good, man. I eat a whole 1/2 gallon of them at one sitting, and then I made them where I couldn't even eat the first one. Never have perfected the tomatoes, but when you hit a jar of them right, boy, they good. You put a lot of basil in there with them. And I raised my own basil and everything, tomatoes too. But it's hard to perfect. But I never miss on the sauerkraut. Never miss. But I do on tomatoes and cucumbers. And can't figure out what it is unless it's the seeds in the tomatoes. One of these days I run into somebody that knows how to do it consistently. Now there's 5 people in here. Surely there's one of them that'll come up here. Hey, one of you 5 folks that's in here listening to me talk, come on up on the panel. I need some help. I didn't know Fireball was for cooking. Mike Chavez is a pretty good cook, though. He's not afraid to try different things. I bet they were good. He's closer to a chef than he is a cook. About 400 yards across the field behind my house, they built a educational complex, and it's hooked up to one university and 3 or 4 junior colleges around here, and they put in a cooking school over there. And the first week of classes, I can see the place. I can see everything. I can see cars parked in the parking lot. With a pair of binoculars, I can almost read the license plate. That's how close it is. But anyway, the first week they started that cooking school over there, the fire department was down there 3 times. They done set the kitchen on fire 3 times in 1 week. I guess it was just grease fires. Nothing. None of the structure burned, but the firemen, they started to just leave the truck over there, I think. They turned out some real fine cooks. I guess he marinated that ribs in the fireball. Is that what he did? Or and apple cider and ketchup? Is that what he did? Marinated? I imagine that's what he did. Jack Daniels put out a marinade several years ago that was good. I used it on some ribs one time. It was good. That's a strange combination, but I bet they work good. It sounds good. Talking about spices, I've developed a taste for cumin. I gotten where I love cumin. In fact, we got a salt shaker sitting on my end of the table where we eat. It's got cumin in it. I put cumin on everything. Scrambled eggs. I put it on everything. I like that taste. And it just came about in the last couple of years. We raise our own herbs. We got an herb garden out there it flourishes. We got oregano and thyme and rosemary. And my neighbor's got a son that his wife loves to cook, and she's a really good cook. And anyway, last summer he was down here and came over to visit, and wanted to know if I had any rosemary. I said, I got plenty of rosemary. He said, what about basil? I said, I got plenty of basil. He said, can I get some? And I gave him little Walmart plastic bag. In fact, I gave him two of them. I said, "Get all you want." And he cut basil and rosemary for 30 minutes. He got two big bags full. Anyway, they came for Christmas last week, and she brought me a bottle of. It's a jar. It's about a quart jar with a lockdown lid on it, and it was full of roasted pecans and cashews and things. And she made some kind of, I don't know what it was with all those herbs I gave her. And you talking about some good stuff to snack on. Those nuts are great. And she did all that with the herbs that he got from me. She brought them home and freeze dried them or something. They were really good. And I love roasted pecans. They do. Catch it with brown sugar and cinnamon. I bet that's good too. Cause I'm a cinnamon guy. Eat two ribs and pass out at the table, I reckon. So you make your own ketchup. That's pretty neat too. I have to remember that about Fireball and applesauce ketchup next time I cook some ribs. I have to remember that because I'm always looking for something to spice them up with. I like spicy, but I don't like hot. I don't see how Johnny Small Pepper's alive. Good gracious. He can't have no stomach. He can't have no worms. That's for sure. 75 miles east. Lord have mercy. I got two little gardens back here. They measure about 8 feet by 17 feet, and I got two of them side by side. Man, I raised a lot of stuff in that little area. So much so that anything, eggplants and stuff like that, cucumbers, I hang them on the mailbox out there in bags, and I used to put it on our on our neighborhood Facebook page. I don't even have to do that anymore. People got nowhere when they come by, they look for those bags. Stop, first come, first serve. Lucky you back. Sniffing around over there. I don't know what's going to happen this year. I don't know if I'm going to be able to garden very much or not. I went out there yesterday. My asparagus is ready to cut down for the winter. Yeah. Yeah, I understand. At least I don't have a big yard, but I got enough for 2 little gardens. I cut asparagus down yesterday, and one asparagus plant wore me out. I had to come in the house and rest. And I got 6 more to do. I don't know. Somebody's going to have to show up and cut it down for me. Well, try to get a house that's got plenty of sunshine, because it takes plenty of sunshine to raise a garden, especially up there where you are, I imagine. Sunshine is the key. A garden won't do much in the shade. It'll grow and everything, but the plants will be leggy and won't produce any vegetables. Lucky you got that look in your eye now. You got to go on. You can't find just the right spot. There it is. And you got it going on down there, buddy. I tell you, I'm ready for 2025 to get out of here. Boy, it's been a rough year. I'm ready to start a new one. Well, good luck in finding your house. It's a big investment, but it pays off in the end. As long as you take care of it and keep it up. I keep putting this link up, but don't look like anybody is going to take advantage of it. Come visit with me some this morning early. Have y'all tried the nose clamps? My son snores real bad. In fact, he walks in his sleep, talks, and everything else. And his wife she puts those things on him when he goes when he yawns, she'll run put one of those things on his nose. And they slowed his snoring down quite a bit. But when he's here, you can hear him all over this house. That CPAP machine. Yeah, that too. That's a lot of times that stops snoring too if you need a CPAP. I got several friends I used to camp with all the time when we had the catfishing group together. And we were at a campground one time and it didn't have electricity. And the next time we went there, two people brought generators. Two people brought generators so they could run the CPAP machine. So they we know we was all intense, and they kept the whole campground, the whole group awake all night. Yeah, snoring is an irritable thing. Now my wife snores like a chainsaw running. And I used to snore, but I quit. And when I quit, she started, and I had to move out. Golly. I don't see how she stood it all those years. I can hear her in there now, and I got these headphones on. She kept telling me she didn't snore. So I had a tape recorder, and I went in there, slipped in there one night and recorded it and played it back to her the next day. She was amazed, man. We had a cocker spaniel at that time, and he slept in the bed with us. And she'd go to snoring, and that dog, sometime that dog would growl. So he thought it was something in the bed with him. Yeah, the puppy would actually growl. Like, what is that over there making all that noise? Of course, Kay didn't believe it when I told her till I did that tape recording. But I talk in my sleep. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I've woken myself up snoring before, especially in the little naps watching a football game or something. I didn't get to watch the whole game. How did that Virginia-Missouri game turn out? Do you know or do you care? You probably don't even care. Hey, Brian B., what do you do all the time? Snore? I know what makes you snore. All that macaroni and cheese you eat and all that chili. I didn't. I started out watching LSU in Houston and went to sleep in the chair. My wife made me go get in the bed. That's all right, Whiskers. A lot of people don't like sports. I don't like movies, so that's the reason they make Fords and Chevrolets, I reckon. Brian B., did you watch the college games last night? Kind of interested in Houston and LSU. LSU. I know you don't watch college ball, but LSU thinks they got a coach that's going to put them in the NFL. I didn't know it till last night listening to the broadcast that the state of Louisiana has more players in the NFL than any other state in the union. That's hard to believe. And most of them come from south of I-10 along the swamp down there. They may not have played at LSU, but they from Louisiana. Brian B., get your butt up here, man. I'm doing all I can do to talk. I'm going to have to start repeating myself here for long. Houston won 38-35. That's great. The hell with Lane Kiffin. Houston ought to get some kind of reward for ugly uniforms, though. Man, that red looked bad. They need to break that up some sort of way. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to stick with it as long as I can, and I'm probably going to lay back down. That's right, Whiskers. He's always accusing everybody else of doing it. You know, a hit dog always hollers. Or he just hopes other people do it, so he won't be the only one involved. That's got to be embarrassing, Brian B. What do you tell your wife when she changes the sheets, or does she make you change the sheets? She need to get you one of them puppy pads to sleep on. Let you train puppies when you first get them. Then that's disposable. There you go. I bet she would too. She ought to. Did y'all have backstage last night, Brian B? I didn't check my Facebook. I talked to Charles on the telephone about some stuff, but I didn't mention anything about that. I didn't even know there was a pro game last night. Yeah, he was sucking on that beer when I talked to him on the telephone. I bet he does get wobbly headed when he drinks that beer through a straw. Golly, man. I've never done it. They always told me that's a rough way to do it. I never have done it. But I know drinking through a straw, people say it'll make you goofier than just drinking that like you're supposed to. Oh, Lord. Yeah, he was buzzing when I was talking to him on the phone. he got that hunting thing going, and I'm trying to play it. Boy, it's hard to run one of these game controllers without a left hand. Well, I got a left hand, but my brain and my left hand not connected for some reason, and it's hard. I have to think about it too much. But I've been doing pretty good with it. I need to be using that left hand for that kind of stuff because that's rehabilitation without somebody standing there fussing at you. Brian B., I asked butterflies and I asked fishing for whiskers when she came in here. Can you notice any difference in my speech or anything? I want you to pay attention to it because I talk to you quite a bit. I want you to pay attention to it and see if you can tell any differences. Because feedback is the only way I know whether I'm improving or not. And y'all just hear me occasionally. My wife hears me all day long, So it's hard for her to tell sometimes. This is the 28th day of November, or December again. December. October, about this time in October is when they was operating on me. So 2 months, I think I've done pretty good in 2 months to go through what I've been through. That's what I need to hear, Brian B. I want you to keep paying attention to it for me. Do me a favor. It ain't that big a deal, but, I need to know. Because I start rehab again next week. I think it's right. I got 3 more radiation sessions, and then I can start rehab. They took me off of rehab when I started all that because it was knocking me down too far. I couldn't keep my eyes open. Too tired. And you also got to consider it's 4:36 in the morning too. It's not the middle of the day. Yeah, I knew you was gonna say something like that. But I got something I bet you never seen. Can you read my cap? I bet you didn't know they had to have engineers. I have that firm do all my work for me, all my surveying. Can you read that cap? Yeah, I have them do all my work. Sometimes my wife gets a little upset with me, but she just gonna have to be upset. We just engineering, baby. That's all that's going on. We engineering. There you go. Yeah, I don't want to short the bill. Huh. Quit looking. Want me to leave you alone? Okay. Charlie gotten where he celebrates quite a bit, man. He's getting where he don't have to have no special reason to celebrate. He's gonna end up getting a DUI in that wheelchair. What's gonna happen? Or his wife gonna knock him in the head with a skillet. She better use a big skillet and both hands when she swings it, cause that boy know he got a head on him. If I was his doctor, I'd try to get me a set of scales that would just weigh his head. Cause ain't no telling what it weighs. I'm gonna try to make it to 5 o'clock. I don't know if I'm gonna make it or not. Yeah, he gets happy when he gets to doing that. That's always a good thing to laugh, man. Laughing is the best medicine. That's the reason I like for folks to stop by the house. Because I love to laugh. I enjoy laughing. Just makes you feel good all over. When I was 13, one of our coaches carried a group of us. I was the youngest. The oldest one was 15. And we camped out all the way from Mississippi to San Diego, California. Well, when I came home from the hospital, all those guys that went on that trip had been, 65 years, 55 years, 65 years. It was in 1960 when we went on that trip. But anyway, they called and they all came down, and man, I felt so good when those boys left. We laughed about 2 hours. It made me feel so good. And then the old friend I grew up with called me called me. Been a couple of weeks now, and we got to talking about old times and got to telling lies and oh boy, I laughed so much. He always was pretty funny anyway, and he got a memory like a daggum elephant. He was telling stories that I didn't even remember, but they were funny. Brian B., I asked Fishing for Whiskers, have you seen Skipjack Cindy eat that old rotten fish? Did you see that on her show? She ate 2 pieces of that stuff. Oh man, everybody else was gagging in the background. She was eating it, and then drank the juice out the can. Golly! And they call it a challenge. I don't call that a challenge. I call that stupidity. As long as you can say no, there's something you say no to. And that's one of them is eating that rotten fish. I don't challenge you to eating that rotten fish. No. It's simple. No. They bought them one of them bait boats, Brian B., her and Travis, that carries your bait out. your line and drops it out where you want it. I was telling Fishing for Whiskers that's what that Tom needs one at that dock to run out there and drop them lines over that ledge that's out there. Those things are pretty neat. I fished from the bank in a lot of places. I wished I had something like that, where you can drop that weight precisely where you want it, exactly where it needs to go. It'd be my luck, though, if I'd had one. It'd be in New Orleans by now. Somebody else would be using it. Because I know I'd let it get away from me. I looked at drones and everything, but I couldn't justify spending that kind of money to get something like that. But a drone would have been what I would have had to use. I couldn't have used a boat because if the boat get out there and that current hit it, it'd be gone. Unless you had another pole tied to it, some sort of way to reel it back in. But they got these fancy drones that'll carry your stuff right there and drop it for you too. Speaking of drones, I was sitting outside here. It's been a couple of months. It was about this time of morning. It was warm, and I went out there and sat to watch the sun come up. And a dadgum drone came by behind my house. Hey, Mark, somebody was flying a drone, and it stopped at the house down the street a little ways. I could see it. It had a green light on it, blue light on it. Come on, Mark. Come on up and help me talk a little bit, man. I'm about to give out here. No excuses. But anyway, I figured it was a private investigator. That's what I deducted. Who would be flying a drone at 4 o'clock in the morning around the neighborhood, trying to look in folks' windows or something? But it was quiet. I heard that thing. I said, what in the world is that? I knew I'd heard that sound before. And I looked out there over the trees in my backyard, and there it was. It didn't stop at my house. It went on down the street and stopped at a house. Okay, Mark. I just made sure you know you're invited if you want to be up here. Some of that Bugman crew ought to be getting up about now. I tell you what, Mark, you're talking about the wife wouldn't like it. The only way I'm getting away with doing what I'm doing is because of what I've been through. Because if I was still wasn't sick or nothing, I would have done had a knot on my head big as that Kleenex box already. Because I know she's laying in there fuming right now. I didn't see her catch any, Mark, but I didn't watch it a whole long time. I'd almost welcome that, Mark. I would. 2 weeks, Lord have mercy. I tell you what, if they took me off about half of this medication I'm on, I'd probably be all right now. So late up in the day, before I don't start taking that stuff until 7 o'clock, and the real strong stuff is at 7:30, and then at 8:30 I take what they call my night pills. That's got all kind of stuff in it too. But the two pills that I take that really affect me are the anti-seizure pills. That chemo don't bother me a bit. It don't make me woozy or nothing. But those two anti-seizure pills I take, man, those things knock me out. I stay in a fog, plus a bunch of steroids and stuff. But I used to be able to take 2 Advil and sleep all night long, never wake up. And taking all this strong stuff, I wake up every hour and a half. I've been real lucky with this chemo. It ain't made me sick a bit. I ate a big old bowl of rice and gumbo last night before I went to bed. Ain't nothing to it, Mark. You just do what the doctors tell you and go on about your business. You ain't got much choice. But it is what it is. I know you brought her the chemo brain. People that going through chemo and how it affects the brain. Well, as far as I can tell, this stuff I take don't bother me because it's an hour. It's an hour between when I take the chemo and then when I take the night pills. It's 30 minutes after I take the night pills, I can't even make a sentence. Can't hardly walk. And I don't use a walker or anything. I just walk. But those anti-seizure pills, man, those things make you loopy as a, ooh, Lord. I can't explain it. Yeah, I've heard of it a bunch. I guess maybe because I've been around so much cancer. I've heard that term a lot. And at first I thought that's what was affecting me until I got to paying attention that hour between 7:30 and 8:30. And I wasn't having any effect from it as far as I could tell. I mean, I could. In fact, one night I went outside and built a fire in the fire pit. and had no trouble doing it. But those other pills are what's really knocking me out. That other stuff. You know, a chemo's supposed to make you sick and everything where you can't eat. Like I said, I ate a big bowl of gumbo before I went to bed last night. I've been lucky with that. I don't know if it's those pills or that gummy bear I eat when I get through taking those pills. Might be the gummy bear because they strong. But they make you wobbly now, I'll tell you that. I wished I had a penny for every door facing I walked into after eating those gummies, especially on my left side over here. I'll bump into a door in a minute, door facing. Heck no, they 25 milligrams. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it right, buddy. I don't take but about 15 milligrams at a time, but I take at least 15 milligrams every time I chew one. I ate a 25 one night while my son was here. And I asked him, I said, son, you ever been at a party and you wanted to get some more hors d'oeuvres and you've been drinking too much and you're scared you might stumble or something going to the hors d'oeuvres and be embarrassed in front of everybody? And he thought a minute. He said, Daddy, I don't believe I've been like that. And I sitting over chewing on that 25 milligram gummy bear. I said, well, you better come on over here and get your old daddy because I can't get to the bed. 100 milligram chocolate, golly. That would have to knock you out for completely. Because 25, I was a little bit of fruitcake. Golly. You talking about incoherent. I was completely incoherent. And I knew I couldn't walk. I've been on that same trip with moonshine, and I knew that if I stood up, I wasn't going to be able to walk. What music were you listening to? Had to be listening to something. I had a roommate in college. We had an apartment. There was three of us. And he smoked that stuff just about, this was back in the days when it was just starting out in the late 60s. And he smoked that stuff just about every night that he could get his hands on it. But he wore earphones and he had a record player. It wasn't a tape player, it was a record player. That's how many years ago it was. He had a big old record and a fancy record player. And he listened to the Cream, The Sunshine of Your Love. I know you know that song. Da 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 da. And we were in the next room, bedroom. He was in the living room. We were in the bedroom, and we could hear that music through them headphones. He got to be deaf. Well, you probably never seen him straight. That's what they used to say about me. Said that boy sure can't hold his beer. Hell, they never had seen me sober. Huh. All right. That may be the way your buddy is. If he smokes it all day long, you probably never seen him straight. There are people that way. I ain't gonna get it on there left-handed. Mm. I know CP got a medical card, and he uses it quite a bit because his back, he can't operate without it. He's a little bit different than just a recreational smoker. He has to have it. And when we go metal detecting, he'll sit on the back of my truck and hit it a couple of times. But it makes him laugh. He gets tickled and can't stop laughing. I just started messing with it when I got a hold of these gummies a couple of years ago. I never have smoked it though. That's not saying I won't do it, but I hadn't done it yet. I had my mind fully made up when they told me I was going to have to go through chemo that I was going to get me some and hit it because that stuff, you know, it's crazy. They say a couple puffs off a joint before, that chemo that's making people sick. They say a couple of hits off a joint and it won't make you sick. And at that time, that pill cost $600. It's down pretty cheap now because I take two of them a day. I think they like $60 a piece now. But I had my mind fully made up that if I had to go through, when they told me I was going to have to do chemo, that I was going to get me some and hit it, because I wasn't going to be sick all the time. And I knew I had to go through chemo to even have it, to even be here to be sick. Well, I made it to 5 o'clock. Lucky old Henry been to bed 3 times. Yeah, my roommate would sign up for 21 hours of class, and by Christmas he'd be cut out of all of them but the afternoon classes. He couldn't get up and go to school. Smart as a whip too. But by Christmas he wouldn't have anything but afternoon classes, so he'd make all them. But he couldn't make the morning one. All right, Mark. See you later, buddy. I don't know how much longer I can stay here, because I got outside cats I got to go feed. I know they're sitting at the back door right now waiting on me. I feel okay, Mark, but thank you. I'm just getting kind of tired, and I can lay down and sleep anytime. It don't matter if I sleep for 3 or 4 hours and get up. I can lay right back down and go right back to sleep. All right, y'all. I think I'm going to shut this thing down. I appreciate y'all stopping in. Nice to meet you, Fishing for Whiskey. I enjoy visiting with you a great deal. You too, Brian B. Sunday night, y'all ain't gonna do nothing tonight, Sunday night, are you? All right, y'all. I'm finna shut this thing down. I'll see y'all later. Appreciate y'all stopping in.